Yeah. Are we on?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was caught up in things.
Caught up in the research.
Elizabeth, Bendy, Donna, Tanya, Chris, Mikey, Mike, Karen, Greg, Tanya, P. Diddy. P. Diddy's on our chat today.
Yeah, P. Diddy's here. You know, it's going to get big, what's going on with P. Diddy. We just got to keep our eye on that. Lots going to be exposed.
No, this is not Angels and Airwaves, but
Sounds good.
it kind of has.
It has that feel to it.
It's like a minor league Angels and Airwaves.
That's right.
But not quite. Good call.
Yeah.
Very good call. This is the show before the show. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks. We're here getting ready to rock and roll a Thursday, March 28th.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him a shout out once we start the show too. Dad's birthday today.
Your dad's birthday today?
Yep.
You know what's so interesting about that? That's my dad's birthday today.
All right. There you go.
Isn't that a small world?
Yeah, he's done a lot to help me get going with the show too. You start,
yeah.
Yeah, you start over midlife business.
Yeah,
and things.
Mm-hmm. Your dad is your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. He's always on the chat line and stuff like that.
We haven't produced anything back yet.
That's right. There you go. We need to have your dad in.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't.
That is so funny. Our dads were both police officers and their birthdays are the same day.
Yep, 28th.
Yep. Very cool.
Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show, everybody. Sunshine, little upbeat music.
Yes. And your daddy's birthday.
Cardinals start today with the Dodgers.
What a good day.
My big lacrosse game for my son today as well.
That's exciting. A lot of stuff going on.
Mandy says it does have that sound for sure. I can't believe, Mandy, somebody else knows who the hell Angels and Airwaves is besides me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to
All the cool
did I
people
ever
know
tell the
about
story?
that.
No, I went to the they came to the concert, or they came to the pageant, I don't know, 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. Did you go?
Yeah, and like it was so funny because like I didn't look like anybody else.
Oh, because you were like
It's
more
just fun.
reserved, maybe.
No, I don't know. It was just different. It just wasn't
They probably had Chucks and skinny jeans and
just Chucks.
yeah.
No, I was a lot younger.
Oh, okay. All right.
A very like skater crowd.
Okay. I can see
As
that.
Glenn calls me Skater Boy.
Skater boy.
Since I
Yeah.
said I like some of Avril Lavigne songs.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm sorry. I mean, I've got no problem with Taylor Swift, but I'll take Avril Lavigne every day over Taylor.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. For sure. For sure.
Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show, everybody. We got to hold on a second. I got a couple things to do here real quick before we get going. Glad when we start early, because then when I forget, as I normally do, I can get this out there. What a great show today, too.
It is going to be a great
Chanel
show.
Rion's coming up from OAN, one of our favorites, fan favorites.
You betcha.
Chris Miller got in under the gun late last night.
Under the gun.
He's a school board candidate down in Hillsboro, baby.
You betcha.
That's God's country down in Jeff.
That's Southern God's country. Really is.
That's awesome. Now change the world with every podcast. Changing the world with every podcast.
Absolutely.
Cancel this.
Mm-hmm.
Where truth comes to light.
Yes.
Where the light is shined on the cockroaches.
That's right. Bright, bright, bright light on the cockroaches. And there's a lot of cockroaches. They're scattering back to their little corners. They're probably hanging out with P. Diddy.
Hey, Joe, can you say, I like that one? Play that again sometime.
Yeah, it was upbeat. It's good.
I like the upbeat. That was upbeat, but it was
but not too overpowering.
not in your face.
Yeah.
But it had a little, it was a good vibe to it.
I agree.
It was peppy.
That's right. You put a little pep
Need a
in your
little peppy
step.
Stuff.
Yes. Agree. We don't want to be crying in our Wheaties, so that's all good.
Yeah. I'm not sure what this is. Next. Good morning, Kim, Jill, Lizzie. Guys, thanks for liking, subscribing, checking out all of our platforms, letting other people know what we've got going on.
That's our Rumble ad today. Yesterday it was I checked in, and this one is bearskin hoodie sold out, and it runs on our Rumble the entire time.
Hey now. Afternoon, Angie from the UK. Getting ready to rock and roll, getting everybody in. Oh yeah, that's right. It's still indie rock. All right, give me an answer. Hey Ben, good morning to you, Ben Khan. Ben, can I share the good news yet or not?
Oh, if it's good news, come on, Ben, let us hear it. Let us hear it.
Yo, yo, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Montgomery, good morning.
Oh, he and his wife are so adorable.
They do a terrific St. Louis show.
They sure do. I love watching it.
And they've always been supporters of our show too. Gordon, thank you.
From the beginning, I saw him on the chat line.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he's also he's giving me advice and
yeah, he's great.
nature. By the way, the good news is Wendy's, as if they didn't have enough going on, and a packed house. And I guess when you're doing so well, you can expand.
Yes.
People out in the Defiance area.
What?
Wendy's has now purchased the previously known Roadhouse in the middle.
Get
of Defiance.
out!
It is now going to be Wendy's Roadhouse.
I love it. Yay, Ben. That just does my heart good.
They are revamping the place and gonna really just bring a whole lot more to that area.
I love that so much.
They're also gonna be doing breakfast. Yeah,
that's great. At the Roadhouse, at the Wendy's Roadhouse.
They were asked. Marla knows food.
Yes, she does.
And so they're going to be doing that. It'll be a great spot where they'll be able to do a lot of really cool things. Well, let's get a bunch of great ideas. And then I was told that another one of our friends and supporters of the show, business owner, may have purchased something in that area as well.
I love it.
The Hoffmans are selling off.
They are. They they were not welcome there. And so they got that loud and clear. Hoffmans, get the hell out of Defiance. So they're leaving. They are.
Yeah, so no dates or times yet from Ben and Marl over at Wenty's, but it's coming and just in time for summer.
I cannot wait. That is great news.
And she's got a fantastic idea to incorporate all the local wineries as well.
Oh, I love it.
They're good business people.
They really are. And they're good people. They're good, hardworking people.
Hearts of gold.
Yeah, they do. I am so happy for them. I'm happy for the community. I'm happy for Defiance. I'm happy for Missouri. That is beautiful.
Now all the work comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm happy. Somebody's asking, how about breakfast in Chesterfield too? I don't know. Maybe they'll do both.
No, that's just going to be for Defiance.
Just for Defiance. Well, that makes sense because Defiance does need a good breakfast place. Exciting.
Yep.
Exciting.
So Wenty's Roadhouse. It'd be called Wenty's Roadhouse.
I love that.
Once I get permission from my other friend, we can promote the other business that is allegedly coming to town there. Once I talk to him, and he is a supporter of the show as well.
I love it.
A super successful St. Louis businessman already.
Mm-hmm.
Ben said, "Hell no!" I'm
hell
sure
no to the breakfast in Chesterfield. I think is what he's saying.
Hell to the no. That's not. Somebody's got to get up early and do all of that stuff.
That's right.
Oh, Pro Joe says he wants a smoked wing omelet.
Oh, wouldn't that be good? I bet that
Joe,
can be arranged.
Joe, we could go ahead and get the show started, my friend, so that I guess we're talking too much here. We'll get it going here. We got a big, busy show as usual. Burn, burn. Hey guys, welcome in. CancelThisShow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe as well, taking care of everything behind the scenes, our look, our sound. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, CancelThisShow.com. CancelThisShow.com. It is March 28th. We are ready to rock and roll. Shout out, happy birthday to Lizzie's dad, his heavenly birthday.
Yes.
March 28th. And my dad, Victor Faust Sr. If you ever see Victor Faust, that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my dad.
Yeah. Sometimes I call you Victor when you're in trouble here. And it just dawned on me, I am talking really to your dad.
Yeah. So happy birthday to him as well. We're ready to get things going. Big day too. Coming up at 8:30, Chanel Rion from AON. We really like Chanel. She tells it how it is. We've had her on a few times. She's very popular. She's great at what she does. And she's really good at speaking her mind in an eloquent way. Also coming up at 9:30, another school board member. The election's next week. He's down in Jefferson County, Missouri. That's Southern God's country, as I was told, at Hillsboro for the Hillsboro School District. His name is Chris Miller. He's done a lot of radio stations, hosting, things of that nature. He had contacted us, told us about things that were going on. So he'll come up at about 9:30. We've also got all kinds of things. Heck, the Cardinals start today. Cardinals, Dodgers, Major League Baseball, rock and roll. A lot of baseball fans as well. We'll tell you what's going on with Donald Trump being Donald Trump, taking care of business like he does. When people are in need, the Don is there. News when it comes to cancellation of a Real Housewife and why she was, quote, canceled. News on the illegal TikToker, the guy that we showed you about, trying to teach people how to squat. Yeah, we'll wait till you hear some of the news that's come down as well there. the Michigan governor, she's connected to Soros in so many ways. And I feel bad for the people of Michigan. My God, how good do we have it in the state of Missouri with Mike Parson,
For sure.
Gretchen Whitmer, and everything that she has done. And I know we have people from Michigan who listen into, you know exactly what's going on there. She's trying to pay landlords to rent to illegals.
That's unreal.
Because landlords aren't. Stay strong, Michigan. We'll talk about that as well. Also, real quick out of the gate today, does you know what we could do? I just thought about this. If Winty's Roadhouse is doing breakfast,
yeah,
we could go live there.
We absolutely should do that. Like literally one of their first couple days, we need to do it there.
So definitely we could look into doing that. Sorry, not to get off track from that standpoint.
No, that's great.
Also, Joe, I just sent you this picture. You may not have had it loaded, but I just saw it. Do people like Home Depot or Lowe's better?
It depends on the day of the week.
I just saw something that came out. Home Depot's doing pretty well. They're acquiring a specialty distributor now. It's SRS, if you're familiar with it. They're paying $18.25 billion. And they're placing this big bet on growing pro sales.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting to know.
And I was like, what? Home Depot? That's pretty damn big. Right out of the gate. Lowe's.
And the reason why I said to pay in the day of the week, because Lowe's tends to be very military supporting.
I love it. Charles jumps in. Home Depot, 3 exclamation points. Come on, Vic.
Yeah. So both of them tend to have patriots want to shop there because patriots work with their hands.
Wait a second. Well, it's interesting. Right out of the gate, my ex has a Home Depot employee, I believe. Oh, it has an ex home. This is interesting.
This is interesting. She bleeds orange,
I wish we could keep track of it.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Let us know which one you prefer.
Lowe's. It's right now. Lowe's is winning, and why? I was just curious why. Because you see them everywhere. I've been in both places.
Yeah.
I am not talent stricken when it comes to building supplies. I can't build anything.
Right.
I can put things together. I could grab a beer and I can put something together from IKEA. Just
from IKEA. Okay.
Mindset. But building, man, this is interesting. And I love seeing this.
Yeah.
Especially with the audience that we have. Out of all the damn questions we've ever asked and got people interested in a freaking podcast,
right?
What's blowing up? Which is better, Lowe's or freaking Home Depot?
Because people really do have an opinion on that. Some people think that Home Depot, I think Lori said Home Depot, the returns are really hard. Some people are saying Lowe's are definitely for the veterans. And I know Lowe's has a 10% discount for veterans. I'm not sure if Home Depot does.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's interesting because under the name Charles Lewis Flagg, Chuck, remember Chuck Flagg? We had Chuck on.
I do remember Chuck.
When he was protecting his property. We told about that whole situation. And
I love Chuck.
He builds and he's a builder. And he helped. It was a part of the amazing studio that we're in.
Correct.
And he came out of the gate saying Home Depot. He says Home Depot is for the pros. Lowe's is for the homeowner.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. I mean, it really does.
Okay. Maybe I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that too. You probably get a bigger discount if you're like like somebody that's a carpenter for a trade, maybe at Home Depot.
I gravitate towards Home Depot. Ben Home Depot, Jill Lowe's. Lowe's has more variety. They're all doing well. Michelle says, sorry, Vic, I previously worked at Home Depot, worked for them for 10 years. All I know is whenever I go into either one of them, and I haven't been into a lot of them recently, I'm amazed at how much help I've gotten from people who work there.
They do. They have really good
what aisle
service.
What can and I'm like, holy crap. I mean, do you guys go through classes at Home Depot for this stuff or Lowe's? How do you get a job? Do you have to have a higher degree of education, especially if you're working at, I guess, Home Depot, if that's where the pros are, or unless the pros know exactly what they need, maybe they don't need as much help. Like, listen, I'm going in here. I need this. I just need to make sure it's on the shelf, or I need to order this. I need to order that. Home Depot does offer vet discounts. My mom always takes my dad when she wants more pricey items.
That makes sense. Okay, so it looks like both of them have a
I'm partial to
discount.
Lowe's, but in order for me to shop there, I have to travel to Kirkwood. Home Depot is only a mile or so away from me in Bridgeton. Yeah, just I don't know, fascinating. Home Depot, Lowe's, Home Depot.
We even had one call out from
Aren't they the
Dawn
same, or is that pure vitriol that I'm speaking to
that they're
people?
the same. They have the same
aren't,
owner.
aren't they the same? Like if I need something in that genre of items, I'm like, okay, what is there?
You can
Lowe's?
probably
Is there a
find
Home
it at
Depot or
both
Lowe's?
places.
I'll go to either place.
You can go to either place. Sometimes Home Depot has more Halloween decorations when I go look for them. I usually shop at Lowe's, but if I need like decorations for the house, I will go to the other place.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it just depends on where people are. Home Depot, 10% military discount. A lot of retired contractors in all disciplines of construction work there part-time. Oh, okay. I guess that's Home Depot. I'm sorry. I think more people are saying they prefer Lowe's, and maybe that's because it's geared towards the homeowner.
I think so, because a lot of people on here are saying Lowe's.
Interesting. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. Once again, we're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. News headlines, politics, news trends, political interviews, as we're getting ready to do with Chanel Rion from OAN as well, friend of the show. And Chris Miller, school board candidate, talking about child safety. That's a really big one for him coming up at 9:30. You are trained in Home Depot. Okay. Interesting. Some of the prefer Lowe's, Home Depot, Lowe's, Home Depot. Right now, Lowe's is winning, by the way, if anybody gives a damn. It's Lowe's. And of course, Todd says Home Depot is the best. Who pays the best? Is it the same?
Yeah, I would like to know if you've ever worked, who pays the highest. But here's the other thing.
The knowledge that some of these individuals have. I mean, I talked to this. I can't even remember. I think it was Home Depot. Yeah, Orange. I think Orange. I was in a Home Depot, and I literally asked this guy like 4 or 5 questions. Boom, boom, boom. And then I had to get a key. He's like, I'll grab it. Took care of my key. He made a couple copies of keys. And I'm like, if I wanted to see this one, it's back at the end of aisle 26. It'll be on the middle shelf. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy needs to be paid a whole lot of money.
Correct.
Or is it just an hourly wage? Is it
They have kitchen design centers too, which is amazing to me. You can get carpet from both these places.
Yeah, I don't have. I have to go in there and look and walk around. And
I love to just meander in one of them. I like the smell of wood and sawdust. So I just like to go in there if I want to get in a good mood.
I know. It is. It's there's something about going into a home builder store. It does.
There is. There's something great about it.
It makes it. It brings me to life, and I know several people that it says the same thing as well. Gordon says Home Depot has a blind woman that works there in St. Charles. She is so impressive. You would never know that she was blind unless she told you. It wasn't until 15 minutes into our conversation I realized that she was blind. Yeah, amazing people work at some of these stores. They really do. And by the way, if the world starts coming to an end, I have a feeling that a lot of people will be going to Lowe's and Home Depot for bunkers and shelters and everything else.
Yeah.
Donna says fresh wood. I need a yard shed. Yeah. Lizzie said wood. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Thanks, Troy. We appreciate it. Okay. Holy crap. It was 30 years ago. I was plumbing department manager at Builder Square in Detroit. Builder Square.
Builder Square. That's a past name that I haven't heard in a while.
Yep. And I guess it just depends on who's closer to where when it comes to that. But once again, the news, they're buying for the pros sales. Home Depot jumping in even more. So anyway, if anything else comes from that, you guys can let us know where all that situation's going. Guys, Donald Trump, New York Post polling from across the country, 6 to 7 point lead over Joe Biden. No surprise there. Once again, he should be. And Donald Trump doing what Donald Trump does. Okay, earlier this week, we showed you the picture and we told you about 31-year-old Jonathan Diller, married, child left behind. He was killed. He was shot and killed in the line of duty in New York by a career criminal. It was a quote normal traffic stop, or what would be called a routine traffic stop. He was shot by a passenger in the car. Career criminals who should have been in jail, and his life was taken from him. So what does Donald Trump do? Donald Trump calls his wife to try to comfort her, take care of her, to let her know that he, along with Tunnels to Towers, are taking care of the mortgage for this woman.
That is beautiful. And
he's flying to New York to honor him at the same point in time. trying to bring publicity to police.
I love that so much.
Joe Biden's in New York, not to honor the family, not to bring attention to this officer who was killed by a career criminal, but to try to raise money.
Yeah, and he's there with his two buddies, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, his handlers.
Oh, yeah.
That's who he's going to be hanging with.
Oh, is this where they're going to Stephen Colbert's house?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah. Anyway, Donald Trump just doing what he needs to do. And by the way, news has also come out that not one of Donald Trump's trials will happen before the election. I was watching Benny yesterday, the Benny show. Had an attorney on speaking to the effect of, these trials aren't going to happen. Once again, as we have told you from the get-go, this is all a sham. It's all for show. Any of these cases is to try to eliminate Donald Trump. And I'm starting to see the left get more comfortable with the idea of knowing that even if it was I guess you could say, compromised election in some sort of, it still wouldn't be enough to take down Donald Trump's support. Because if independent to left-leaning poll companies are saying Donald Trump's up by at least 7 points, it's probably 15. And so this is what scares me. Something else is going to happen. We've already been told, Black Swan event, things of that nature and so forth. But I was also told by a friend of mine yesterday, considers himself to be a moderate conservative, as he says. He thought that I was loony. He didn't use that word, because we showed you the video of Lara Logan yesterday breaking down why she said it was a cyber attack with the bridge. If it would have been somebody who I did not know, I probably wouldn't have shown the video. But I have the utmost respect for Lara Logan, and she has done it for decades, being one of the best reporters, correspondents, not only in America, but across the world. And so anyway, I was like, please tell me, Vic, you don't think that wasn't just an accident. I'm like, listen, that's what we do on Cancel This. We want to hear all the stories.
Correct. We want to hear both sides.
We invite everybody and let's have a factual conversation, not one about feelings or what you think. And I said, just watch the video. He refused to watch the video.
Well, see, that's the problem with
I said, you got to listen to the video.
Yeah, you have to. And he's a Republican too, isn't he? He just doesn't believe.
A
moderate. Okay, well, there you go.
He doesn't believe in conspiracy theories.
But that's the problem with moderates. And I like a lot of moderate people. They have some good common sense, but they won't look into the things that look like J6 or now this accident. But then when you really dig into the accident, it was Mitt Romney. Yeah, Mitt Romney's. No, Mitch McConnell. I get those two confused because Mitch and Mitt, whatever. But Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law that is the CEO of the company that owns that boat. And she mysteriously died like a month ago. And because
what do you mean mysteriously died?
Well, she was driving in her Tesla and the Tesla went into a pond and she died. And they said she died drunk. But here's the deal.
This isn't Friday, but
no,
this is Friday Eve for the conspiracy theory. This is Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law. Lived where?
She lived in New York, I believe.
Okay, so American citizen.
She's an American citizen. She is Asian though, and this company for this boat is in Singapore. Yeah. Yes, and she's the CEO for the Singapore company. So a lot of people think that she lives there, but she doesn't. She lived over here, and so I'm not saying that it is for sure not an accident. But when you dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and you realize who owns it, and she mysteriously died in a pond. Because they said she was drunk. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe her Tesla did go haywire and end up in the pond. I don't know. But think about who she's related to and think about why they might want her to disappear and think of why her boat a month later takes down a whole bridge that now causes a lot of transportation issues. Just saying.
Todd says from the chat line, of course, we welcome you to the live podcast as well. What's really separates this show. We appreciate it when you jump in live Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central and all the time. On our website, canceltheshow.com, we have several platforms. We can see your comments and we try to get to as many of them as we possibly can. No, Jay, it was not aliens. Todd thinks that China owns that boat.
Well,
and that they would not want to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, you can't think logically.
I know. See, we're all thinking logically.
No, you have to think unlogically.
Correct.
Unlogically.
Glenn wants to know, was Ted Kennedy driving? driving her Tesla into the pond.
Yeah. Look at what date that bridge was built.
Mm-hmm.
That as well. Also brings into infrastructure situations across the country, especially in the state of Missouri. A lot of situations with the bridges. General Flynn said it was a black swan event at the bridge as well.
Correct.
And he broke it out. So I'm just telling you, it's not all people. You're not going to find a more down the middle person than Lara Logan when it comes to covering events.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just whatever. But I told my friend, you watch the video and then we'll talk. I said, I'm not saying either way. I'm just saying we on the show talk fact. We're not talking about feelings and how things used to be in the 80s. And, oh, come on. Life's good. Everything's fine. The government doesn't do anything. The CIA doesn't. There's not a 1% of people who try to control the world and the world's money. Everything is like it was in the 80s. And we're all happy. And I know we have some bumps, but in the election, everything was normal. And it's okay for an election to be stopped, disappear for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then it reappears with one candidate with hundreds of thousands of votes and none for the other. It's all normal. This is life. Take the tinfoil off your hat.
That's what they're telling us to do.
I'm like, okay. All right. From the chat line, Randall, everything the government media is saying about the Baltimore bridge collapse is a deception.
And see, I agree with Randall on that one, because from the beginning when this happened, a lot of people did not agree with me. They thought I really had a tinfoil hat. I do not trust anything big media tells me. I don't trust anything the government tells me. So when you go and you dig and you find out who's involved, there was no shocker to me that Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law was involved and that she mysteriously died a month earlier or so. I'm not saying anything. And then it all happens the same time that sex trafficking happens with P. Diddy. You can't convince me that there isn't something nefarious here. I mean, how can you just let a tugboat take a whole or big ship take down a boat or take down a bridge?
I know. And I love the fact that we have different opinions on this too, from all across the country. People jumping.
I love it.
Well, Jay says people want explanations. I get
they
that.
do.
They would rather believe the impossible over the idea that accidents happen sometimes. Maybe, but maybe not as well.
Right. And this may be completely a coincidence. Maybe it really is. The timing was bad. These things happen. But the big story behind all this is we're even having to question big media or having to question our government because we don't believe anything they're saying. Maybe they're right this time. Maybe it really was an accident. Maybe it really was, just error. Maybe it really just was a cyber attack. But we'll never really know the truth. We can speculate, but they will hide it.
I know this is a tragedy, and I make the sound that I did just from the sheer fact of people going back and forth in regards to what they think, what they feel. And then, of course, we're going to see. I mean, nothing good has come out of this. Bodies were found. And by the way, the bodies as of yesterday, they were all from different countries: Honduras, Mexico, Venezuela. I guess those were the people who were on the bridge working.
That's what we're told. Yeah.
Do you think if it was a terrorist attack, they would have done it during rush hour? No, I don't. And here's why, Gordon, because this wasn't about gaining attention and taking a few lives. This is something that we had on our show yesterday, as Lara Logan spoke about. It's about a bigger plan of taking down America from within. The amount of money that this is going to cost America, not only for the bridge, but shutting down major ports, shutting down situations where companies, like when you have hazardous materials, they can't go through the tunnels. They have to go over and above and beyond where they have to, just to try to transfer. The largest shipping port in our country, 31,000 cars a day over the bridge. This was a much bigger situation, shutting down that port and basically shutting down that bridge. It's big. Please go back, watch or look up Lara Logan's interview with Steve Bannon. That's all I'm saying is it was damn good information that we got, regardless of how you feel from that whole standpoint. Yeah, anybody can, oh yeah, they would do it during rush hour. Well, yeah, let's bring a big, no, this is more subtle.
Yeah. Well,
death by 1,000 cuts, as Lara Logan explained yesterday, regardless of what you feel. And I'm not telling anybody how to feel. I got off track, but the whole thing is, I was going to say, Donald Trump really hasn't said anything about the bridge that I have seen.
Yeah, I've not really seen him say much about it.
We were talking about Trump coming
to
New York to take care of a grieving widow of a police officer, another one killed in the line of duty by career criminals who should have been in jail, but because of lax prosecutors and lax judges not doing their job, the problem becomes, they're out on the streets, allowed to commit crimes with no deterrence. We don't care. So kudos to Donald Trump, and I don't care if his adversaries say, he's just looking for photo ops, like they said with the Bible, for $59.99, whatever. At least somebody's promoting.
That's a bargain. The $59.99 Easter Bibles, that's a bargain. If you go into a Christian store, Bibles are now $80 and $90. So I think you can fork over $59.99 for Easter Trump.
Oh yeah, maybe. From the chat line, Chris says it's about the distraction of the infrastructure of the country, not a loss of life event. Correct. This will set back the trade market several months. I even heard at least a year.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And and I know that some people are saying that they talk to people.
Another financial hit to the industry.
Correct.
More inflation, less supply, the supply and demand issue coming back as well.
That's right. That's right. And I know some people are saying that this big ship a couple days ago had mechanical problems and they still let it go out anyway. That's part of it, I think, whichever way you think.
Are Bibles still in hotel rooms?
Some hotels. And I'll let you know, because I'll be in a hotel this weekend in Chicago, and I'll let you know if there's a Bible in there.
What are you doing in Chicago? Volleyball?
Uh-huh.
Oh, are you not here tomorrow?
That's right.
That's okay. I'm sorry.
That's right. Megan's here tomorrow for me.
Okay. All right. I got you. Coming up at 9:30, an interview with a local school board candidate talking about child safety. Are school board members going to win more when it comes to really talking about kids' issues, not parents' issues, and not the teachers' union issues, but what's really best for kids, their development, their learning, and what he's trying to do? Elections coming up next week, so he'll be talking about that. Of course, we've got Chanel Rion coming in here momentarily. Also, baseball's back, Major League Baseball. St. Louis Cardinals playing in LA. So good luck to them. We do a national show. We're based out of the St. Louis area, of course, Cardinal fans, despite what we feel about how certain things have happened when it comes to a lack of the offseason and getting real pitching. So we'll see where that goes. Also, you can jump in on the chat line Monday through Friday here with us. If you have ideas, story ideas, things we're missing, interviews, let us know. We'll do that as well. We'll catch up with you. If you know of advertisers, sponsors, people that want to get involved, donations, we have that on our website, canceltheshow.com. You click on donate. You can do it on your phone as well. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well. Jay says 162 games to go. And you do help us. And we continue to grow on all of our platforms where we are. Of course, X and Rumble and YouTube. Clout Hub, we're all there for you live. Then, of course, you can watch us there live after the show as well if you can't catch us between 8 and 10. But you can also listen to us on all of our audio platforms as well. Apple, Spotify, Google, all of those sources. And, of course, let people know you can easily send that video. You can send that information to anybody you need to send it to as well, if there's an interview that you would want to see too. It's interesting. You guys have not stopped talking about which is better, Lowe's or Home Depot, and the port information. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Todd also brings something else to the table. Half of our trucks are in the shop in America getting fixed every week. Same with ships. Plus, there's limited mechanics to fix them. We know that from talking with Kevin Malutnik, one of the owners here at Strategic Air Services, where we broadcast live here Monday through Friday. Pilots and mechanics make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money doing that. Also, I didn't even think about ship mechanics. Yeah,
that's right. I'm sure that's a real niche thing, is mechanics that work on ships. And we haven't even gotten into the problem of the hazardous waste now that came from that ship.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yep. We've got that going on too. Also tomorrow, our Free For All Friday, Conspiracy Theory Friday. I've had some people sending in things. If you have anything, send it to vic@canceltheshow.com. If we don't get to it tomorrow, maybe we can get it to it in coming up days. But I do have some information pieces that were sent to me by Robert, who's joined the show in the past.
That's awesome.
Things for us to look into. So if you want to throw something out there, let us know. We'll try to get into it tomorrow. Kelly Mano, back in studio, Eric Johnson and Megan Marie filling in for Lizzie, who's got
Yes.
volleyball happening over the weekend as well. Lori says, listen, I want mean tweets and lower gas prices. I paid $3.48 at a QT in the St. Charles area. Yes, gas has gone back up. It's not very much fun, but it's all part of the game. Donald Trump talked about this the other day with gas as well. I didn't show what he was talking about when it came to that. Joe, if you find it, that would be cool as well. Also, there's a solar eclipse coming up April 8th. If you didn't know about this, we are efforting a Pastor Brewer. I've been talking with his people. He's been out of the country. How this whole April 8th solar eclipse is everything about the Bible. It's biblical.
Mm-hmm.
The date, the time, all of the stuff that's going on. I was like, wait a second. So we're efforting him for next Friday.
That's awesome.
Which would
I
be
can't
right
wait.
before the solar eclipse. I remember the last one.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool. And
I thought it was pretty cool too.
There were solar eclipse parties everywhere. And
very fun.
you
Very
know,
fun.
and I'm like, okay. It was. I just remember it was a warm day. I can't remember if it was in September or I just remember it was warm outside because I was looking up at the sun until the sun became cloudy. And of course, use those glasses as well. Let's see here. I cannot see comments because we're on the road. But my question is, these cargo ships have top technology. How did this get out of control? Yeah, because it lost power. Now, people are just saying that, it could just lose it out of somewhere, lose power, whatever. Okay, whatever. You want to believe that it just loses power, then it comes back, and then a ship goes in. By the way, the ship went in reverse. I've seen video that the ship went in reverse and hit it. Has anybody else seen that? Anyway, that's part of it, not to get too off track with everything that's going on. By the way, real quick too, Todd says, I remember the last thing that I was working on. I pulled over, had a quick trip in St. Charles, and I watched it all go down. Not sure exactly what he's talking about. Don, I don't know where you're messaging from, but opening day baseball canceled due to the rain. Sorry about that. Jay says it's a solar eclipse, people. A solar eclipse. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, it's a solar eclipse, April 8th. But there's some biblical sense to whatever this happening April 8th. I'm not going to break it down. I'm going to let the expert do that when we get him in, and hopefully we'll get him in next Friday. All right, we're getting ready to talk to Chanel Rion. Do we have Chanel backstage ready to go with us on canceltheshow.com? Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks here. Jay says not biblical. Okay. Well, here's the thing. When we do have Pastor Brewer in, you need to come in and answer those questions. Just like we are letting Robbie talk next week on Tuesday. Got a couple questions where we've got Missouri's Attorney General, who's been making the rounds and making a lot of noise as well with the Hazelwood School District. He'll be in on the show on Tuesday at 8:30. So you will not
That's some good
want to
stuff.
miss that. Donna was checking in from Philadelphia.
Love it.
The Phillies game, I guess, got canceled from that standpoint. Tanya says OAN is great. She loves it. And then, of course, we've got everything going on with that right now. The one thing that I love about news networks like OAN, they were there kind of before we started doing what we were doing, trying to get the truth out, trying to bring the full story. Even things that Fox News refused to cover. They wouldn't cover it, but OAN did. Then, of course, a couple other ones. I mean, you've got shows all over the place that do things. Real America's Voice. You've got canceltheshow.com. You've got lots of podcasts as well. And that's why we respect what they have going on, especially when it comes to Chanel. And Chanel has told us what happens at the White House. And of course, earlier this week, we had Simon Atiba on. And by the way, I had a couple of people message me like, man, I love that guy. And if you're not following Simon on Twitter, you should, because we appreciate, he spent about 35, 40 minutes with us. And just look at his X feed and everything that's coming down. If anybody deserves a show on X, it's not Don Lemon, it's Simon Atiba. So Elon, we love you. We support you. Look at Simon, he's doing and everything that's going on in that country. We have, I'm not quite sure. You know what? This is this is a good soundbite about everything with the bridge. And I appreciate this. This is KJP. She was actually asked yesterday, where's Joe Biden? When is he going? When is he going to go to Baltimore? When is he going to make an appearance or speak about it at the site? Because we know it's difficult for him to travel. I mean, they have to prepare him for days before he goes anywhere. Listen to what KJP had to say when she was asked about where's the freaking president of the United States regarding this entire tragedy.
Any update on when the president would go to Baltimore?
I don't have an update for you. Obviously, we want to do it when it is the appropriate time on the ground. We're going to continue to have conversations with obviously local officials on the ground to get a sense of what their needs are, but we want to make sure that we do not disrupt their efforts. You just heard from the Secretary and the Vice Admiral, this is a major undertaking, and so we don't want to get in the way. But you heard from the President. He wants to get there as quickly as he can.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. The freaking president of the United States should be able to get there and be on the ground. What else is going on right now? What else is that man doing? He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything whatsoever anywhere to help the situation. He had a little press conference and that was it. Nothing. Get the diaper bag ready. We need to get Biden to the bridge. Yeah, it is something of that nature. Cindy takes this a different way. She goes, I really don't like her eyeshadow.
I don't like her eyeshadow.
Derek, good morning, Derek. Derek says this was all planned to disrupt the flow of commerce. That's what Lara Logan says. Derek also says there were explosions on the bridge. Yeah, I've seen video of that too. Megan, maybe with the line of the day, people, he was at a ribbon cutting ceremony at a brand new local ice cream parlor. Yeah, of course he is. Connie says from the soundbite we showed yesterday, he's still trying to find the train track.
That's right.
Yeah, of course, because we showed you that as well. He used to ride that bridge all the time by car and train. Yeah, there were never any train tracks on there, buddy. And by the way, just remember, it did take him 2 years to get to East Palestine, Ohio, when Donald Trump had already been there. Time now to check in with our friend, the one and only Chanel Rion from OAN. She has been on a couple different times. Very popular guest. People like her because she speaks the truth. She's good at what she does, and she has a lot of experience doing it. Chanel, can you hear us? Okay, I see her.
I see her.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
yes,
but
we can hear you.
But you're not moving. We have a picture of you. We have a picture of Chanel, and we don't see her moving. So
well, if you can
Joe,
read, you have just the picture. Maybe that'll have to do.
Joe, when you,
I see myself.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening from a technical standpoint, but Joe, if you could just please take care of that and then get her back up, because we just, I don't know if we can keep that. Yeah, Joe, I mean, maybe. Can she? Yeah, we'll take care of that. Joe, can you take care of that off air for a second to make sure we can try to get her, whether she has to start back up or not, so everybody can see her? Hopefully we could do that as well.
Yeah, maybe take her out and bring her back in.
Regarding the bridge situation too, because you guys will not let us get off this bridge. We try to let the show go for the most part where you guys want to go with it. But Les says the White House did send somebody yesterday who spoke with the Baltimore governor. He spoke in Spanish.
Oh, seriously?
When talking about the bridge workers who perished. So don't know if the workers were citizens or not. Here's the gray area about the whole quote citizenship. You have illegals coming in. They're not legal. They're not going through the process, but they're being given stamps of approval just for now. Oh yeah, go work. But they're not actually being vetted. They're not going through that entire process. That's the problem that you have. Then they're like, oh no, they're legal. No, they're not legal. But this is what the government is now trying to do to get as many people into the country as possible. And then we'll get into what Governor Whitmer is doing in Michigan as well. Back now with OAN's Chanel Rion. Chanel, good morning. Now we see you. We hear you. and it's a whole different experience when we have all of Chanel.
That's right. When we see her face.
Yes,
I love it. I miss her face.
Not just the picture of her. Chanel, hopefully all is good in your world. What's been happening with you and OAN or in your life and your beautiful little baby that you showed us the last time as well?
We are doing phenomenally. I've launched a new opinion segment on OAN called The Fine Point. You may have seen some clips of it on Twitter, but we've been posting those regularly now. You should see a lot more of those in the future. I have another track going. I'm going to law school full time as well, so we have a lot going on our end. But we're keeping everything moving, and I'm keeping track of everything where I can.
You probably want to be an immigration attorney, right?
Well, I was about to say that would be very lucrative, but maybe not. I'd have to work on the government side, which I don't know. I'd rather die.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Yeah, I'm sure she would rather die than do that.
I was being sarcastic.
Well, and we saw your Fine Point segments, and you're great at everything. But when I saw your new little drops coming out with Fine Point, I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to get Chanel back on, because you're telling things so many people won't even say.
You know, the interesting thing about not being in DC for so much of the content that comes out, watching the news and then not being in DC has been so refreshing, because it's so easy to fall into the bubble of Washington. No matter where you are, no matter where you are on the spectrum, no matter how based you are, or red pilled or black pilled or whatever pilled you are, you're still inside a bubble in Washington. So I was grateful to be removed from it. And in being removed from it, I was paying more attention to what the commentators, not just the news opinion shows were saying, but just commentators generally, even those that I respected. I thought they don't have any information, for example, about the Trump campaign. And I found that so stunning, especially when you have them commenting on the Trump campaign night and day. When you listen to them carefully, they're not sharing anything that is remotely on the inside, which made me realize that had I been in the bubble of DC, I would have thought, no, they're connected, aren't they? They've got their sources. Absolutely not. The media, the mainstream media, has zero context and zero contact into the Trump campaign, which is a first. I don't think any campaign in history has been this shielded and this loyal, frankly, to their own candidate.
That is so refreshing, because all of the leaks that happened in both, 2016 and 2020, where there was somebody in Trump's camp leaking it to big media. And now the fact, when I heard you say big media has nothing on the Trump campaign now, nothing.
No, I know the people in the campaign, and I know they don't talk to anybody on some of these big legacy media streams, and even places like Wall Street Journal, New York Post, even those guys, they don't have actual access to the Trump campaign for the first time in decades, maybe generations. And the media has no idea how to deal with this. And that's why, as I said in my segment, they'll label as chaotic or a jumbled mess anything they actually don't understand. So they don't have to admit that they're not actually doing their jobs.
Yeah, it makes sense. Chanel Rion, we know her from OAN. She has her own segments now, which she was just talking about. We were asked, is that a Harvard pennant over your shoulder on the wall?
It is. I don't know how proud of that we can be nowadays.
No, but you're not I can't think of who it is. There's a guy in Fox News, one of their younger guys. He went to Harvard as well. And he said he sent back his degree because he was so sick of Harvard is done. How does that make you feel? Because, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but I know I could have never gotten into Harvard, but I lost so much respect for Harvard when they brought Lori Lightfoot in as if she's some higher mind to teach classes. What the hell is going on at Harvard?
So at the law school over there, they ended up actually taking letter grades away. They started just making students attend, and then you just got a pass fail. That was the beginning of the end, I believe, to Harvard's academic integrity. Once they started getting rid of the levels of excellence, that was absolutely the beginning of the end for them. And then I have had so many friends from my undergraduate period coming out of the woodwork, really. And these were friends that were not necessarily, actually, they were not on the right at all. They were moderates or far left, but they were good people, and I was friends with them. And I have had a rekindling of so many friendships since the scandal at Harvard has taken place, since that president has doubled down on her plagiarism scandals, since the school has doubled down on some of their radical policies. I have rekindled so many former liberal friends who have now decided that they're no longer liberals because of the radical anti-Israel messaging that Harvard is promoting. The
Harvard liberals turning their minds from a political standpoint.
Wow.
Yeah, and these are very smart people. They were brilliant people, dear friends of mine, and we just never talked politics ever since I left, and then ever since I got into what I ended up getting into, they kind of disappeared. They never really touched base with me until recently, where there's a lot of discontent about just the loss of reason. And the loss of reason is being spearheaded by, of all places, our Ivy League schools. Those places are spearheading a complete rejection of reason. And it's anathema to how they were started. These schools were started. It's anathema to the reasons that they exist. And the donor base is reacting. And that's the good news. The good news is, for the most part, the alum, the student body that have left Harvard since their graduate days, those dollars are not going to be pouring into the university as much, and money talks. So hopefully we'll see the pendulum swing back, because my former friends are now stepping up and saying, this is ridiculous and we are not supporting it.
That is really good to hear.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that, Chanel, because Harvard has always been known to be the university you want to get into. And then they ruined it with all this woke ideology. And to hear your friends that are liberal and might have been farther left liberal are now waking up that they don't want this nonsense at the college that they were so proud about.
Is Yale any better, Chanel? Is Yale any better, Chanel?
They were never better.
Okay.
They were always worse.
I've got a son being recruited by Yale in a sport, and I'm just curious because I said there's no way in hell you're ever going to Harvard after what I've seen happen in the last year. So I was hoping Yale might be a little better, but I guess not.
Listen, if you have the opportunity to go to Yale, first off, my condolences, but also it wouldn't be bad. You can go. I mean, I think I'm testament to going and surviving with my integrity intact. Cortland, same thing. Cortland and I met up there. Cortland had graduated. He was out.
Cortland Sykes is Chanel's husband.
Yeah, my husband, Cortland. So he and I found each other there, and we were not so vocal politically back then, but it was so refreshing to find other hearts and souls and minds who thought alike and who saw the world in the way that we did. And the one benefit to going to a place, to going to these East Coast venues, or even any college in the United States, frankly, the one benefit is if you have a solid moral foundation going in, if you have solid, you're close to your family, you're close to your moral values, and you go in, it's a very educational time to listen, watch, and understand how the other side operates. At the same time, it is also a place where other kindred souls stick out enormously, and you find them, and that's where you create these incredible bonds, and some of it ends up in marriage, and some of it ends up in families, and so that's where Cortland and I found each other.
Well, talking with Chanel Rion from OAN, she also has a show, The Fine Point. Chanel, what kind of advice would you give for people wanting to get into media if they're conservative? Because we had a question from the line: is there even a spot for somebody who, and first of all, you shouldn't have conservative or liberal attached to anything if you're, quote, in the media. But at the same point in time, if you're trying to tell both sides of a story, which may be a Republican and a Democratic point of view, you may get ousted.
You will get ousted if you want to play the game. As long as you're someone who wants to play the game, then go through the traditional channels. I never played the game. I was that person who went about literally everything in my life in a very unconventional way. And as a result, you find unconventional venues like Twitter, like OAN even. OAN was not the big dog media. They were kind of this unconventional, family-run, small media company that through excellence just made its way through the news channels and into the hearts of and living rooms of thousands of Americans who really were craving for something that wasn't being offered. So my advice to younger people is truly, I don't want to be contrite, but you have to be authentic. And you cannot try and tailor yourself to a machine. Don't tailor yourself to say, this is the format that I think people want. No, be yourself and then find your audience by being yourself. Because if you try and force yourself into a mold that already exists, you're competing with so many other wannabe starlets or wannabe media, wannabe Woodward and Bernsteins, that it's going to be it's a lottery to even break in. You have to be yourself. You have to be genuine. If you go to a place like DC or New York, or you try and get into any of these scenes, one of my top advice to young people is don't drink. I would say that more people have gotten into trouble by hanging around bars and hanging around people and getting involved in people where they would say things while drunk or slightly tipsy. I know that's kind of a random piece of advice, but it really is a good one, because it keeps you out of certain groups and people and trouble that you did not otherwise need to be involved in.
Yeah,
so be authentic, don't drink, find the right people, stick with them.
Yeah,
That's great advice.
The House Republicans, that's who I think got in trouble, because there's no way in hell these people would be all quitting, 15 of them, right before an election. There's no way in hell that these Republicans for the last 3 years would be doing what they're doing unless, oh, yeah, somebody's got something on them. Yep, I bet it's alcohol too. It's something.
Yeah, it probably is. It's probably alcohol and things that people do under the influence of alcohol or drugs or whatever that
money.
They may
They're
ordinarily.
under the influence of money.
Well, they're good point of that one.
Money is a powerful alcohol, and it's a powerful drug. So it's something that you also see a lot of compromise when it comes to media personalities. And another thing I would say is, Vic, you said something earlier, and I wanted to touch on that. I think that when the media lost its way, when they really went in and they all wanted to become world changers. These are reporters who are simply supposed to report facts and let you decide. They decided they wanted to tilt the scale because they felt insignificant, and they had egos that they wanted to expand upon. They wanted to be bigger than who they actually were. And in that desire, you saw a media body take on a very insufferable characteristic. It's this characteristic of sitting on this high moral throne, this pious chair, looking down at the rest of us and saying, oh, I'm sitting in this chair of truth, and I'm looking at the facts, and I have the facts. I've already decided what's the right thing to do here, what's the right path here, and I will just show you the facts that I think is necessary for the ultimate good. But at the same time, I'm also going to pretend that I'm extremely unbiased with zero worldview. That's where media went wrong. And I think with OAN, with me, I never hid the ball in that regard. I always shared with you where my viewpoint was. My viewpoint has always been, I'm anti-big government, anti-big tech, anti-big pharma, anti-big anything. The big guy is usually the bad guy. That was my worldview. And from that worldview, I reported on things that I saw through that worldview, and I never pretended that I did not have a worldview. And that's, I think, what really has gone wrong with media in general. It's really been a difficult time for media to adapt now to more people waking up to that realization, waking up to the realization that you have a choice when it comes to how and where you get your information. With Elon Musk buying Twitter, now X, that's an incredible moment in the evolution of media, and I think it's going to be a very exciting time. I hope young people really take advantage of that, speak out, be authentic, and really start to don't force yourself to be something you're not.
Well, and Chanel, speaking of young people, you had said something in one of your fine point little videos about there's Gen Z handlers now with Joe Biden. Apparently they don't respect him because they're spilling all the tea on him, where Donald Trump's camp is being quiet. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Trump doesn't need handlers.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden does. Joe Biden needs
For
handlers,
sure.
and they're not going to take the senior people inside the Democrat Party to handle him. They're going to assign basically nurses who are in their early 20s to take care of Joe Biden. And what they mean by taking care is meaning jumping in that bunny suit and preventing him from answering questions, or it's inside the Oval Office and frantically ushering media out of the room to prevent them from asking any questions. Those are the low-level handlers that those Gen Z people I was talking about, who are constantly complaining about how awful it is to be to have to be his nurse, essentially. Yeah, Trump doesn't have anybody who has to take care of him, who has to watch him for what he's saying. He has a team that's around him that says, look, Trump was elected by record numbers. And as much as the mainstream media hated Trump and his style, America, for the most part, the numbers showed, loved Trump. And as in respect to that, there are no handlers for Trump. There are handlers for Biden. There are no handlers for Trump. So the more handlers you have, the more likelihood you have people of talking. You've got young people having to take care of Joe Biden. They're not paid a lot. They're very unhappy. No one's recognizing their work. And so they go out to the bars at night and they complain. And naturally, that's how a lot of these media types get their information about the Biden administration. Interestingly, they're not actually reporting on it because it goes against their side.
Yeah. Where do you see the election going while we have you talking to us today regarding a fair election, people thinking or trusting what's going to happen? And do we make it? Because, I mean, my mind was blown after Joe Biden had the worst press conference in the history of presidents, trying to defend himself late one night, I believe it was a Thursday night, right after Tucker Carlson did his interview with Vladimir Putin. He had to try to get the scene back. And then coming out of that whole situation, we saw a man that was just brutal in everything that he said, he did. And Governor Kristi Noem says, there's no way this man can run for office. Literally, she said that in a national interview and said, we're going to have some sort of black swan event so that she said, quote, COVID-like, so that individual governors of states can do what they want for elections.
That at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if a scenario like that were to happen. Right now, every day we wake up and we hear that Joe Biden is still walking is a shock. That should be frontline news. Joe Biden is still alive because he's not in good shape health-wise. I have Secret Service contacts who still talk about how concerned they are because they'll find him wandering around the lawn at night looking for the dog that he didn't let out, and he's not fully dressed. And so there are things that are happening now that clearly don't merit a person who should be running.
Oh my God.
Elder abuse, you've heard that. That's a narrative that's been going around a long time. And it's
Get off
true.
my lawn.
It gives a new meaning to get off your lawn and your undies if you're the president.
I don't know what the Democrat plan is. I don't know how they're going to actually make it to the finish line with Joe Biden. Maybe they will, and they're just going to continue to limp along. That's kind of their plan. Or they have some kind of backup plan. At this point, I can't say. It's been a very crazy last few years. It's hard to really predict what's going to happen. But the trust in our election system is a merited concern. We need to be very worried about our elections. The good news is that we have a new team at the RNC. A new team has taken over, and they're going to be very adamant about chasing lawsuits and making sure that lawsuits are filed to ensure the integrity of our elections. I know the people who are involved in those efforts, and they're very involved, very concerned, and they're very competent, and they're going to do an amazing job between now and November, making sure that we do everything in our power to make this next election cycle free and fair and unobstructed.
That is great news.
Let's hope. Do you know Lara Trump?
I do.
Okay. I figured you might. I was just curious. I mean,
Lara and Eric, they're incredible people. Listen, talk about two people who are so authentic. When you meet them, they have bright lights. They're celebrities in their own right, but when you meet them in person, these are two people who really are genuine people. They don't put on airs. They don't put on any fronts. There's no ulterior motive when you're talking to them. These are incredibly authentic people, and I'm so glad that Lara is in there now. And I think that was a huge move politically, and that was a very smart move. I cannot speak more highly of Lara and Eric. They're good people.
That is great. You always think that. All of us that are more on the outside, we've always seen the Trump kids. And for years, I think Eric was always seen as the younger brother that people didn't pay as much attention to. And then it seemed over the last 5-6 years, him and his wife, Laura, have really taken the bull by the horn, both with his business and politically, and defending freedom and Donald Trump. It's just a beautiful thing to see.
It is. The passion is real, and the fight is real, and the motive is good.
Hey, Chanel, you've been to a lot of these political shindigs with all the big name people in the past. Biden and Obama and Clinton are all in New York City tonight for a fundraiser. What goes on at those fundraisers? I'm just curious behind the scenes, because you've been to goodness.
You'll actually be surprised, even with all this money involved, you'll be surprised how much drama goes into who gets a picture with who.
And I'm hearing that it's like you have to pay like $10,000 to get a picture with Obama and Bill Clinton. I don't know if that's true, but I've been hearing that. Probably more. Okay.
Especially if it's a twofer, you're definitely going to be paying more. If it's a twofer, you're going to be paying a lot more. And then there's a lot of drama behind the scenes over who gets the picture. Did you pay on time? Did the check clear before you took the picture? There's all kinds of really funny, petty little things that happen that you'd never think would happen at this scale when it comes to people with this amount of money. But lots of drama about that. You'll see a lot of inauthenticity when it comes to who's smiling at who.
Yeah.
Who's smiling at who? I don't think I would even pay 50 cents.
Yeah, I know
for a picture with Obama.
P. Diddy won't be
Clinton.
there tonight. I can tell you that much. He hates Trump. He loves Obama, but even P. Diddy won't be there tonight. That's for sure.
No.
Before we let you go, we appreciate all the time that you've given us so far. What's something that you think people need to be aware of or be watching for as we approach the election in 2024?
Yes, that's a great question. Look for how, be mindful of what levels of censorship are going to be snuck into our daily lives. And what I mean by that is we are fighting a lot of battles behind the scenes that are not necessarily in the front, not necessarily something that's in the public view. A lot of battles behind the scenes where you have AI merging with censorship to try and tamp down, quote, disinformation. And you would think that we defeated the disinformation monster by, sending those people packing over at the DHS. The fight is far from over. The left have simply decided that they just need to recalibrate. They really want to continue this mission, what they view as a noble mission, to filter information. So my call to your viewers is don't turn anything down. Keep watching, keep viewing, keep being informed, but also be highly aware of the constant effort by the left to filter your information. Don't jump the gun on anything, because they want to pull conservatives, and they want to pull anybody who's voting for Trump into all these different conspiracy theories and different directions and make everybody look crazy. Don't fall for it, but also be mindful of the information that you're not getting, because there is an active, constant effort to filter out information, and it's happening every single day, 24/7. And the left is winning because they know how to use this technology. Conservatives don't tend to want to use this technology, and so they're running away from it. Conservatives need to dive in both feet wholeheartedly into this world of AI and fighting that censorship. So keep an eye on all that. And most of all, don't tune out. Keep tuning in.
That is really good advice, because we're often seen as the crazies because we will jump in with one foot in a story that has no proof. And so we just go crazy, and we don't look very smart when we do that. That is really great advice.
Yeah, we need to start a network up. Could you talk to your husband with all the money? Let's start up our own network, please. Can we possibly do that? Can you add that in with being a mom, law school, and working for OAN at the same point in time? And do you have any contractual obligations of a non-compete that would stop you from starting our own network?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Could you imagine?
But listen, word is out that Elon Musk is looking for someone else to park his $8 million show offer to. So maybe that's something to go after.
I vote for you and our new friend Simon Atiba, a correspondent at the White House for Good Day Africa. If you don't know him, look him up on X, because he is dealing with what you dealt with and being canceled and reprimanded. And you can only imagine what it's like for him being a black man who goes after KJP. So now he got banished like you did. And he sits in the halls and does what he can.
Yeah, he does. We don't agree on everything, but at the same time, I understand what it is.
I don't agree on everything with him either, but
I understand what it's like to be in the position he's in. And what's funny is the hypocrisy of that media room, and how inclusive they act on the outside and how very non-inclusive they are behind the scenes.
Well, and I know you guys are so busy, but the next time, we're getting a lot of requests for when the next time that you're on, that we get an Atlas pop in and that Cortland does it with you. I know you're busy, but if you two could be together, we would really like that.
Oh, you would love it. So we'll have Cortland join in next time. Atlas, we'll have to see what his schedule is like.
Tell him to bring his checkbook.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, Chanel. Thank you again. Chanel Rion from OAN, Fine Point, one of our most popular guests. We appreciate you. Have a great day, Chanel.
We love you, Chanel. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, guys.
She's like, what the hell is that dude talking about?
Yeah, she's like, I'm just going to smile. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Done. Yeah. Talking about us all getting together and putting the team together.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? Well, there was a point in time that I had them on a team together with all of us, and we chose not to do it because of the ownership of that station isn't a true conservative and someone that says one thing and does another. Because what Chanel was telling you, that is who she is. She is an authentic person. Her husband, Cortland, is an authentic person. They truly love this country, and they don't lie about stuff. They will call it out, but they also are very similar to you, Vic, in the fact that they do understanding reaching across the aisle and still hanging on to your liberal friends, praying that they will come around. And she told the story about her friends from college that were very far left now have seen the light.
Yeah, this is canceltheshow.com. We bring you interviews like this throughout the week from all across the country as well. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe running the scene behind the scenes. You can join us 8 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. We love it when you join the live cast as well. Let us know your thoughts. We try to get to them as much as we possibly can. Lizzie taking care of the chat line and co-hosting at the same point in time. And don't forget to miss don't want to miss our Free for All Fridays, conspiracy theory, paranormal, you name it, all goes Fridays, comedy, to try to take a deep breath and relax from everything that's going on. But with this stuff going on in our life, it seems like we're doing the conspiracy theory talk every single day. Yes, Paula says great interview. Bendy says brains and beauty. Yes, she has that as well. Yeah, not too much time for her going to law school, being a mom, and working at OAN at the same point in time.
Well, and where she's going to law school, we didn't really get into that, but is completely different than Harvard.
I know it's not Harvard.
No, it's not Harvard. No, it isn't. It is a Christian college.
Oh, really? Is it in Maryland?
Virginia, Regent.
Okay. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's just wonderful. Next time we will have her on again. We will have Cortland with her because that'll be great. He's really busy and he's out of town a lot with the military and his job. But when the two of them get together, it's a hoot. They're very funny, by the way.
So he's out of town.
He's out of town a lot doing secret things.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Secret things.
Hey, coming up at 9:30, we've got an interview with a school board candidate talking about why it's so important. It doesn't matter where you are in the country, why you have to take an interest in electing your school board candidates, because once again, it's one of those things. Oh, you don't have to worry about the school board members. They don't get paid. They love the kids. Do they? Is there another force at play? Teachers unions trying to corrupt kids at an early age? Well, we're going to hear from that coming up with Chris Miller at 9:30 Central Time. Also, it can hit anywhere. And Chanel brought this up. You've seen Palestinian protest groups, peaceful and allegedly like that. Well, we broadcast live out of the St. Louis area. A very popular place in Clayton is called Napoli. Well, here's video last night. Wesley Bell is running to try to defeat Cori Bush. And I don't care if you're from St. Louis or around the country, you know who Cori Bush is, or a lot of people know who Cori Bush is. And the problems that she has stirred up in DC and the lack of helping her community, always claiming race, always claiming everybody's against me because I'm a black woman. Well, here were some protesters last night, and we can talk over the video too, at Napoli showing up last night. So it can happen anywhere and everywhere, wherever you're going. Joe, you can just play that video, buddy, and we can just talk over it from that standpoint. Showing up to do whatever kind of damage, to do whatever kind of problems that they were doing to try to go against Wesley Bell because he's trying to have a campaign event. And because he's having a campaign event, you have protesters out all over the place. My son texted me last night. He was driving by. He's like, Dad, he's like, what the hell are all these people doing out? I didn't know it was a Wesley Bell campaign event, but I did say that I'd be shocked if money from DC did not come in for Cori Bush to try to beat Wesley Bell because she is a part of the squad in DC.
Absolutely. And look at the flag. It's not like they're flying an American flag. That should tell you everything you need to know about it. They come there, they crash someone else's event because they're just trash. They really are. They are no class. They could be paid to be there. I wouldn't be surprised. But you know what? There's plenty of people in like North County, North City area that support and they're in that area. And that's who will back Cori Bush. If you're a Democrat, there's Republicans there too. So I'm not dishing people who live there. But the people that support Democrats are often women who back this sort of trash. And look, there they are. They're waving their Palestinian flag. And that's just horrible. And if that shouldn't tell you that if you live in that area, and we do have a lot of listeners that can vote in that particular event, if you could vote for Wesley Bell, and I know he's a Democrat, so a lot of you might not want to, but because a Democrat's going to get that. So you can vote for the Republican if you want to, but you're just throwing your vote away. You need to vote for Wesley Bell. He's a Democrat. He's not going to agree with everything that we're saying, but he's not out there with Palestinian flags, and he's not going to embarrass us. And he's actually a nice human being.
I know him personally.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything with him from a political standpoint.
Me either. I don't agree with most, but he's not going to fly a Palestinian flag.
No, he's not going to. And I have been told he's leading in polling.
Yes.
Which would scare the hell out of Cori Bush.
Correct. And I know my son can vote for them, and he would more typically vote for a Republican. But he agrees with me on this one that he's going to vote for Wesley Bell, and he's going to help campaign for Wesley Bell because they do not want Cori Bush.
That's one of the stories that's going on. Cori Bush is also very sympathetic to illegals.
Yes.
And using that position that she has in DC to do that as well. Remember the illegal TikToker we showed you? The video of Lionel Moreno. This little thug not only posted a video, which we showed you, and for our viewers of the show, you can see his picture. I'm not going through his whole video again, from Venezuela, posting first, became 500,000 viewers on TikTok, showing illegals how to come into the country, showing them and explaining to them, listen, bring your kids, they'll make you legal, have kids here, you get money, then they give you $350 a month, they take care of your food, they take care of your living, and it is amazing what you can accomplish here as an illegal in the United States. Then, because he became so popular, what did he do? He posted another video about how to squat, how to take over somebody's house, literally outside of houses in a nice neighborhood, trying to generate interest. Well, the little thug is also wanted by ICE right now.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God ICE is doing something, or allegedly being allowed to. While he has been doing this, he also he didn't follow the rules like all the other millions.
Correct.
But he's listed right now as an absconder from the program. So what that means is ICE is allowed to go after him. They should be allowed to go after everybody. But now he's on the run and they're looking to take him down. Hopefully, if somebody knows where the hell that dude is, make sure ICE can find him. TikTok, interestingly, banned his account.
Yeah, they sure did.
So they banned his account. So what did he do? He popped up on Instagram yesterday.
That's interesting.
And saying, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to get what I need to do on Instagram. I'm not making as much money. What this little asshole is doing, now he's making money off Facebook and Instagram, and said, well, they took my money away. I'm not making as much money, but I'm still going to try to get my account back with TikTok. And I'm still making money on these social platforms, telling people how they can live their American dream as an illegal.
That is so unreal that he makes money off of telling Americans.
He's got enough followers and viewers.
He does. He absolutely does. Well, the one good thing about him getting banned, and even though he went on another one, is it brought awareness to the squatting problem. That is good that he did that, because this has been going on for decades, and it's gotten worse over the last couple years. And the fact that he did that, people like Ron DeSantis are going to try to squash the squatting going on in Florida. And I hope I'm sure the blue states aren't going to do it, but I hope the other red states follow DeSantis on this.
He's making $1,000. So he was making about $1,000 per week on social media.
Get out.
Yeah, the guy's making over $4,000 a month just from
Wow.
posting these kinds of videos, because he has enough people to do what he wants to do on his platform. That's what you can do. You can make money. Annette says, deport the prick. I hope they take him down.
I hope they do.
Let
too.
us find him.
Yes, and get out of here. I mean, and he's probably at $4,000 goes a lot more than it would for an American if he's squatting in a house living for free. So that can go a long way for that kind of a guy.
I doubt he's squatting, because that would bring attention to him ASAP.
That's true. That is true.
His time is limited. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter of finding him. Because most people that chime in tell him what a loser he is, but maybe he has all these followers, and there are people that are using his information to try to go after people in the United States.
Absolutely. And then the other illegals are also listening to it too. So he's got haters, and he's got people that are learning how to squat.
Peg brings up an interesting point. He's probably not paying taxes.
That's right.
No social security number. Feds can't track his money.
That's right. So it's free and clear money for him.
And it's on top of whatever he's getting from the government as well.
That's right.
If he is indeed still getting them, and who knows? But once again, we've talked at length, and we'll continue to talk at length about the problems at the border and what's happening in this country and how it's changing fast before our eyes. 4,000 is 3 times Social Security or disability.
That is just unreal. And these squatters are everywhere. Like yesterday, one of our listeners who knows a lot about Lake of the Ozarks was saying that those types of people are moving in there too. And then I've heard another person say there's squatters even in nice places like Lake of the Ozarks.
Are you serious?
Yeah. A lot of illegals are in that area now.
Holy crap.
They're infiltrating the area.
Another interesting story from yesterday. This is cancelthisshow.com. We talk about stories where people can't be canceled, and or the cancel culture education, the society. What happens? We did have somebody, and Chanel Rion from OAN, who was just with us, talked about this in media. Yes, they will push you out if you try to give certain opinions, if you try to give another side to a story that has already been decided as the company line, the company story. This is our narrative. How about this story? Now, Lizzie, I know you sit and watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills
every day. Like I have it on repeat in my house.
When those shows first came out, that was one of my guilty pleasures.
Really? I've honestly never watched them. Some of my kids have,
Don't
but
I strike
truly
you as a
never seen
Beverly
it.
Hills type of watcher, the Housewives?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do.
That's back when I had time.
Now you don't have any time. You're not watching it anymore.
No, I wouldn't. It all changed. The originals are always the best. Okay. So I used to watch The Real Housewives.
I could see you there with your latte watching it.
Yeah, I could have those conversations with people. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I don't watch it anymore. But this beautiful woman that we show you right now, her name is Anne Marie Wiley. She is the wife of Marcellus Wiley, who is a really good NFL player, liked the guy a whole lot. Well, she had a year on the show. She was on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Well, she is speaking out now. She was fired after 1 year, and she was a pretty good guest on there. She was a pretty good person. But what happened was she was invited to the show. She would never audition for it. They wanted her to be on the show. So she did it. But then all of a sudden, she was cut from the show. I'm sorry, Andy, you did a bad job with this whole bit. Bravo. I'm sorry, Andy. You might be a St. Louis guy. And
come on, Andy.
I hear you have a good heart. But Andy, I know the Democratic playbook gets thrown out there, man. I'd love to catch up with you and talk about this and other issues and other things, including your New Year's Eve performances, which some of it's comical. They fired her. And guess why? They wouldn't really tell her exactly why, but word is circulated that she got fired from the show because she supported Donald Trump, that her political conversations made her co-host feel uncomfortable.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Because she was committed to being a Team MAGA representative, and she didn't think it was bad. She didn't rip others for their opinions. She just gave hers about who she liked, which is what the show should have been about. Different personalities, different ideas, all under one roof, all in front of the same cameras. It creates drama. It creates conversation, right? No, they want the little echo chamber. So they kicked her out. They also had a problem with, guess what? Her views on transgender athletes. That's right. Biological men being able to compete with girls. And they said, Anne Marie Wiley, you're right wing, so you're not right for us. And they got rid of her. I guess nobody's surprised. It's not anything that's going to, make us lose sleep or, oh my God, we're going to be talking about it all day. Just don't forget that these things are still out there. But it is interesting because Marcellus, who's a former ESPN football talk show host, put out a lengthy post on X. I'm glad that he did, about what happened to his wife. And here's what I thought was, they said that she was a Trump supporter, but she made those comments known. Marcellus said that the owners of the station, the people who ran the show, knew that his wife wasn't a Trump supporter, but they said that they were doubling down on it. But still, at the same point in time, he was trying to stick up for his wife because she had said that she was pro-Trump and against the transgender movement with athletics.
Well, and that's probably why she would be for Trump, but she might not even have said, I'm pro-Trump. Just the fact that she is against transgenders, you would assume then you're not a Democrat. And so the whole thing is just, look at all the people that get canceled if you don't agree with their narrative.
It does happen.
It does happen.
And I just wanted to get that in there real quick. But talking about the illegals, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, real quick before I get to our guest too. If you haven't seen what she's doing now, Governor Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan is now trying to give landlords $500 as part of a new program. And she's getting some backlash in the state because they just had an illegal kill a woman. She's trying to pay landlords $500 if they rent to illegals. She's literally trying to promote illegals coming into this country and being able to live as an American citizen who is legal. This following a previously deported illegal immigrant in Michigan who was just charged with murdered a woman. And she literally wants to call this a newcomer rental subsidy. So the landlords would get $500 as long as the illegals, not migrants, illegals, are renting their places. And it immediately followed an illegal immigrant being brought up on murder charges. She says, quote, many refugees and other newcomers face critical housing challenges. And this program will increase access to better and more affordable housing opportunities while supporting a more rapid social integration to refugees and other newcomer populations to the state of Michigan. I mean, once again, you can't make this shit up. Now they're trying to normalize it, pull on your heartstrings. We just want them to come in and we're going to give you money now because I think people are wising up.
They are.
They're like, hell no, we're not going to rent our places to illegals. Hell no, we're not going to invite them into our kitchens. Are you kidding me?
Could you imagine? I mean, that is bizarre, even saying, oh, okay, well, you have a 4-bedroom house and only 1 bedroom's being used. So now you have to take 3 illegals in your house. I mean, that's what they would do if they could get by with it. They wouldn't do it to themselves. Of course, it wouldn't be the higher ups in our government, but it'd be like you, Vic. They'd come knocking at your door or come knocking at my door and go, okay, your kids have gotten older and you've got 2 bedrooms left. So let's move some illegals in there.
I know it's the whole thing is frustrating as hell to me that you have a governor now doing that. And by the way, she is one of the most liberal, far left, extremist governors you could possibly imagine. People in Michigan will tell you not only what she has done, even going back to the 2020 election, but what her Secretary of State have done. We had somebody on our show, if you remember, speaking about what had happened to him in the state of Michigan, how they were going after people there in the state of Michigan. Not fair, not honest, not just, and literally attacking political opponents. And then, of course, now, oh, yeah, we're going to have a subsidy. We're going to give anybody that wants to bring in illegals $500 into their rent to them, please. Yeah, go have fun in the state of Michigan with that.
Yeah, I'm going to go there on vacation real soon.
It's all out of control from the chat line. Only registered Democrats have to take them on. Yeah. Also from the chat line, sure she is.
I agree. I would love to say, okay, if you are a registered Democrat, since you agree with this immigration policy, you're the one that has to do it, not the rest of us that know that it's illegal and dangerous.
And, you know, we had David Gregory on. He's running for state Senate, the seat. He's going after, you know, I really loved when he was in here.
I did too.
I mean, he's trying to bring forward, and this goes to the state of Missouri, legislation if and when, and once he wins, the state Senate seat, which is interesting. The only one that's a conservative seat out of 4 that represents St. Louis County.
Yeah. I don't even know that I realized that was the case.
In St. Louis County.
Yeah.
So he went to the border, and I wanted to show you a piece of his work, his video, of an ad that he's got, because not only does he bring the legislation forward that he will put into place, but he also went out on his own money, took time to spend at the border.
Joe Biden single-handedly caused this border crisis. Let's not forget, the same day Joe Biden got sworn into office, he bragged about undoing everything Trump was doing to protect our border. Biden bragged about halting the construction of the Trump wall. Biden bragged about reissuing protections to illegals. And he even bragged about rolling back immigration enforcement priorities. Now, Joe Biden wants to blame Trump for this crisis. It's time we get aggressive and protect our women and children.
David Gregory running for state senate. I'm glad that he actually took some time to go down there, not just for some service piece of picture, but he was down there for a while, actually getting a lay of the land, trying to see what was going on. You can check out his site, gregoryformissouri.com. His two issues were securing the border and protecting Missouri kids. He thinks and says that we need that legislation in the state of Missouri. You've got to deport illegals. You find them, you deport them. And it doesn't matter if other states aren't. We're going to get them out of Missouri until they come into this country from a legal standpoint. I respect that in a massive way. And I know that you respected David Gregory too. For
very much
when
so.
He came in from that standpoint. And we may be hearing more from him as he comes in as well. He represents, and that's the seat that represents pretty all of West County.
It's very important that people understand who he is, because I had no idea until he was here that literally that is just the one seat that is a conservative Republican seat. The rest of the area of St. Louis County is all Democrat. And so you have to be very careful who you put in that one Republican seat. There's other people that are running against David that are very nice people, and they've done some good things for St. Louis County. But David Gregory gets our number one crisis. And Vic says it all the time, our number one crisis. And I know many of you in the chat line feel the same way. The border being wide open and these illegals running rampant, that if we don't get that fixed, anything else that we want to do is going to be secondary, because the crime is going to be so rampant if we can't get this stopped. And we've had David here a couple times, and I'm very impressed with him. And I really believe that he's the person for the job there, because immigration is so important right now.
Todd says 100 respect for that. I would pay more taxes for that.
Mhm.
That's a great point.
Yeah, me too.
You know what?
Me too. That'd be the only thing I
As
pay more
much-
taxes for.
As
Mhm.
much as the movement, the conservative movement, and people who are conservatives are against taxes.
Yeah,
At this point in time, when you see what's happening and,
correct.
and the added crime,
Mhm.
and people don't even realize, because it hasn't totally hit us from a national standpoint yet, but it's going to even more so when it comes to the amount of money that's being lost
Yes.
on a daily basis. I mean,
Correct.
it eventually runs out. There's not a money tree in the backyard that's actually producing money in DC. It's all being printed. You know this. We talk about the
Yes.
financial situations. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And eventually you have to pay the piper. It happens.
Yeah. And it's
in
going to
those
be our
things.
kids and our grandkids that are going to pay the piper. So we've got to get this border closed.
By the way, people wishing happy birthday. That was my dad, just in
Mhm.
case. It's the same name. So a lot of times you'll see people, Victor Joseph. That is the Padre. It is his birthday.
Yes.
And also the birthday of Lizzie Sparks' dad, his heavenly birthday as well.
Yes.
Todd says, yeah, look at what Sam Page has done for St. Louis
Mhm.
County. But once again, you don't have Republicans that are elected in St. Louis County. And St. Louis County, which was thriving, and they've got some good things and some bad things, but they're not growing.
Right. They're not growing.
That cog in the region's wheel is not growing. And St. Louis City certainly isn't.
That's right. People
And-
are leaving in droves out of St. Louis County to go to red areas.
Yeah. Victor Joseph. There we go, to get those birthday wishes out there. We have another situation that's happening right now, and it's in the schools, and we focus on the schools a lot and what's happening. You want the best for your kids. I mean, most parents do. You want the best for your kids, but just like everything else in life, can you really trust what's happening in your schools when you send them to public schools? And I've said this before, you can pay a lot of money and send them to a private school.
Mhm.
And guess what? The same thing can happen.
That's right.
So you have to take everything into account. You have to care enough. And that's why school board members, and we started to talk to some school board members recently in different parts of the area, St. Louis County, St. Charles County, and now Jefferson County. Chris Miller contacted us. He is running for office. He joins us from Jefferson County. I'm told that is God's
It's South God's country.
South God's country.
Mhm.
Okay, fair enough from that standpoint. And he's running for a school board spot in Hillsboro. And I know a lot of families in Hillsboro, and I would like to think it's a damn good place, a damn good high school. What's the problem with Hillsboro School Board that you feel like you need to go run, Chris? Welcome in to Cancel This.
Thank you so much
Okay,
for
I guess
having me
Chris can't
today.
hear us, Joe. Once you get... Okay.
All right. So there he is. Chris, can you hear us?
Hi, Chris.
I can hear you.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Joe, let's take care of that behind the
Yes, I
scenes.
can.
And then once he's
Can you hear me?
okay, good. Thanks, Chris. Hey, Chris, Do you have, is there a reason why, as I was just setting you up for that you felt like you had to run for this position because of what's happening in the schools? Okay, Joe, let's cut that out. We'll get back. If you can take care of it in his technical standpoint, we'll get into that. It scares the hell out of me what's happening. That's for sure.
Well, and it is. And today, what he's doing is like, you'll have technical difficulties coming in. And the problem is today is, if we've talked about this before, you need to be very careful because your internet and things right now are being attacked. They're pulling your internet down. If you don't have 5G, so to speak, I probably shouldn't have said that word. That's what they want you to have. And if you don't have it, you can't hardly communicate in the way that you want to communicate with people because it's blurry. They don't like people doing that. So,
I wonder what we can do when it comes to promoting the candidates. We just try to get their word out.
That's right. We tried it. Well, and the biggest thing is if they are backed by the NEA, then that's not the candidate for you. You might not want the other candidate possibly, but at least they're not being told what to do. Because if you're a candidate backed by the NEA, there's absolutely nothing you can say that they're not watching you. And the NEA is a left-wing propaganda unit. So we like to talk to people, even if we don't agree with everything they say, at least they're not backed by the NEA.
Yeah, Chris restarted his computer, got his technical side taken care of. His connection looks good. Chris, okay, now I'm being told
it's fluctuating. And that's the problem. Like
Chris, if you get your stuff together right, then we would get you on, but we can't put you on unless we get the tech taken care of. That's just kind of part of it. So,
and
anyway,
like Todd's saying, God's country doesn't have, and I want to say the number 5 with the letter G, because you can't put them together. And so they often don't have that. And that's purposeful, that they can't get you to communicate with people. You don't have it.
Come on.
Can't talk.
Well, I'm told the God's country doesn't have 5G.
They do. A lot of the areas don't.
5 whatever.
Yeah, 5 person.
Whatever that
a lot of people in Hillsborough don't even have it. So they can talk to you on the phone, but they can't give you a visual. And like Greg says, you're over the target. I mean, that's like, they really are, just like you were talking about the housewife lady, they really are censoring conservatives. And if you think they're not censoring, and I'm not saying this is the case here, but if you're not part of the NEA, they don't want your mouth moving. They really don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're trying to do everything that we can. And in the midst of those stories that we're talking about, we also have now a story coming out just days after the Mexican president threatened the United States, saying, we're going to continue to send people to the United States unless you meet our demands, because everybody knows you can do whatever you want. The getting's good. You get while the getting's good with Joe Biden, with Barack Obama, and whoever else is running DC, or whoever else is in that 1% of the global world order, taking care of business, writing those checks, dictating what's going to happen, which is why they don't want Donald Trump in office, because none of that shit happened when he was there. And we can't have him back because, oh my God, he would go back and undo the crap of the last 3.5 years. Now the Mexican president is trying to use this tragedy, this Baltimore bridge collapse, and whether you think it was on purpose or not, saying that migrants do not deserve to be treated as they are in the United States, because migrants who were working on the bridge died when it collapsed. Literally saying that migrants, illegals, not migrants, illegals, deserve better treatment where they're living and making money illegally against the law. Once again, it is the year 2024. More crap, more shit, more just disastrous situations have happened under the Biden administration than in the history of this country. More things that would have to be undone, which is why people still can't believe a man like Donald Trump would go through all the hell that he's going through to try to save this country, to do whatever he could, which is why most people feel it's the most, anybody that knows anything about politics knows that it's the most important election in this history.
Absolutely.
This country. I mean, you've got what countries are now doing. It's so difficult. I mean, there's so much it's difficult to keep track of on the daily. Forget about what's happening on a Monday or Tuesday. It's every day, every week. All of these things are continuing to happen over and over and over again. So once again, Now you got the Mexican president saying, yeah, we'll do whatever we want to do. Screw this, screw that. Yeah. We basically are now calling the shots in the United States. We will do whatever we want. Yeah, we're going to work on another day. I know the election's coming up next week, but Chris, we appreciate you trying. Chris is all about safer schools and safer means not having your little safe room.
Correct.
But where kids actually go and listen to reading and math and those sorts of. Okay. If it doesn't work now, then I'm out. I'm told he's on a different device so we can take him.
Okay. So we'll try
okay,
it. We'll
Joe,
try
I
it.
trust you. Let's see what we can do from that standpoint. So we got Chris back in. Chris.
Okay. You look clearer for sure.
Chris, why do you want to be on the school board? Is something going on in Hillsborough right now that concerns you? Because we've certainly gotten stories from people running for school boards in St. Charles County and St. Louis County. All right, I'm done. Sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. We've given this a lot of time. We have a national show here and that's it. Joe, we're good. Anyway, we'll try to get him next week.
Yeah,
so
he didn't have any sound.
Yeah.
So,
if you're in so if you're in the area and you're in that school board, check him out, see what he can do from that standpoint. But we tried it 3-4 times, so we have to move on now. Anyway, I'm just pissed off at what's happening. Now, who would have ever thought we'd live in a time where the president of Mexico is not only ripping the United States, but calling the shots? I mean, literally calling the shots, saying, this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy, things would change in a heartbeat. Todd checks in from the St. Louis metropolitan area. Parkway North spent millions of dollars on an underground shelter. Supposedly, it's required now for something. I have no idea what that would be when it comes to, a shelter. What a shame that they would spend that much money. Paul says Europe is the prototype of what's going to happen in this country. It all started over 10 years ago, and now it's slowly infiltrating its way into America. And now it always seems like it's going fast now with Joe Biden here. Everything increases always with Joe Biden. The bad increases always at an exponential rate. They're starting to change things all around the world. How about that?
How about that?
Todd says they said that they had to build it to continue to get funding for something. What the hell would that be?
I don't know. But it's like, I can see that, but they're always making up stories. It's crazy.
No, socialism. Yeah, it could be all of that, 100%. All I know is we try to cover it. We try to bring out the information so that everybody knows. Also, when it gets into the media standpoint, I get it that, there's funny people out there and people like comedians and they can be fine and they can have a lot of fun time. But Jon Stewart, and I know he's allegedly tried to help veterans, but you want to talk about a jackass? This guy is nothing but a Democratic shill, a total jackass. And you know what? On top of it all, if you go out in front of cameras and you rip somebody else and you try to talk about them being so horrible, so bad that they're demons, they're liars, they're convicts, and this is what he said about Donald Trump. And he ripped Donald Trump publicly for saying that Trump overvaluated Mar-a-Lago, and he didn't. By the way,
he didn't.
So first of all, Jon Stewart, as sarcastic and funny as he thinks he is, and as witty as he tries to be, and thinks he's so cool, he's a liar. And he's a hypocrite, because guess what he did? The numbers have come in. He over-evaluated his own home by 829%.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, he's so funny, so cool, Jon Stewart. Blah, blah, blah. Here's what he did. He sold his 6,200 square foot home. Must be nice to live so poor.
Right.
His Tribeca duplex. And
that's a duplex, no doubt.
At the time, the property had an estimated market value of $1.8 million, meaning he overvalued it by 829%.
Oh my gosh.
He sold it. Yeah. Very, very, very interesting, for $17.5 million. So, yeah. Okay. So now you see ordinary people call that scamming the buyer.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the 61-year-old Jon Stewart is nobody to respect because guess what?
Clearly.
And then you're starting to see the push against Trump because I see more and more of these useless people who are not in the main meeting trying to say, well, we're leaving the country if Donald Trump's elected.
They said that
I know that Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes. And Cher.
Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
A bunch of other kind of wannabes.
They said that in 2016 and they're still here.
Has-beens, and they were here and we're going to leave and we're trying to do all of these things. There's just so many damn hypocrites out there. Be real.
Don't say it.
Be honest and be loyal. I don't care. Be loyal to whoever you want to be to, but just be loyal. Be honest. Don't lie. Don't freaking lie. Just go out there and speak truth and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. I agree with Peg. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't this country even be better if they would just leave? It would be great.
Yeah. Greg says, I have 1,000 square foot house in Florissant for sale for $2.3 million.
Okay. Yeah. Send it to Jon Stewart.
That's where the market could be going these days. You never know with everything else that's going on. By the way, this is cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate you guys jumping in with us Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central and all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. Our Free for All Friday show tomorrow. You're going to be volleyballing it.
I will be in Chicago.
Stay safe.
Right? I'm going to have to take a bulletproof vest.
Megan Marie will be in for you tomorrow.
Yes, she will.
We'll have Eric. We'll have Kelly. We'll try to have some fun from that standpoint as well. If you guys have other stories, ideas, guests, sponsor ideas, advertising, donations, you go to our website, cancelthisshow.com. Vic at cancelthisshow.com. Lizzie at cancelthisshow.com. Just let us know. We'll do whatever we can for you to get those stories and bring it forward. So we appreciate that. It is March 28th. Have a great day. We'll get out of here a couple of minutes early. We couldn't get our interview in, and there wasn't anything that I felt like over the top about. Was there anything that you felt?
No, I think we covered it all. I think we did probably more than we needed to cover. So I think we
go Cardinals.
Go Cardinals.
Home opener today, or not home opener, season opener in LA. Home opener next week. Next Thursday is the home opener. Always a big time in St. Louis. So,
love that.
We're grateful for everybody jumping in again. That does it for the fastest 2 hours, or just a little bit less than 2 hours in podcasting today. We appreciate it. And thanks again to Chanel Rion for joining us from OAN and catching us up on all things politics. So for Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Guys, have a great day.